Hi, everyone. Wow. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing so many of you join. All right, so we're gonna get started. Welcome, everyone. Congrats on everyone for hitting 100K in this server. Literally, it was so wild. It was so fun talking to some of you on stage yesterday to celebrate. But now we have to make sure that all of you who qualified for the airdrop actually get it successfully and might as well like learn about some cool crypto concepts, Solana concepts along the way. So the Fractal team pulled some strings and we somehow convinced the CEO of Phantom to join us today. So we have Brandon on the call. Um, Phantom is my favorite Solana wallet. I think it's super pretty. I also really love purple, so I'm really also glad that I'm also purple in the server as well. But we're super excited to have him. Bring your friends, tell everyone, because this is going to be how you're going to learn how you're going to actually set up not only a Phantom wallet, but actually verify your Phantom wallet to get qualified for this airdrop so you don't miss out. So, first of all, though, I want to learn a little bit more about Brandon. So, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, and yeah, thanks Jan for having me and yeah, giving me the opportunity to share Phantom and teach people how to use it to use great applications built on Solana like Fractal. Um, but yeah, my name's Brandon. I'm the CEO and one of three co-founders of Phantom. Um, we just got started with Phantom earlier this year, back in April. Uh, Prior to that, all of us have been working in the Web3 / crypto space for about 4 years as part of this startup called ZeroX, which focuses on decentralized exchange technology on Ethereum specifically. And so, yeah, spent 4 years kind of doing a deep dive there, and that was awesome because that was sort of before the terms DeFi and NFTs I think were even coined, and even Web3 to some extent. I think people knew kind of what it was, but it wasn't anywhere close to like where it was today. So I got to participate in sort of like that emerging sort of like world and technology. So that was awesome. Um, and yeah, while we were doing that, we had a lot of great ideas for how we could make a better Web3 wallet and decided to give it our own try and spin earlier this year.
Dang, I actually had no idea that it's only been since April. So you're definitely very OG. I hope everyone in the chat knows that we're talking to like an expert here.
I'm
Okay,
not.
so okay, so something that I just want to make sure because I feel like Fractal really brought a lot of like new people, people who are new to Discord, new to Web3, new to Solana, new to like everything. So why don't we start off with our like Solana 101? Basically, like like what is your intro to Solana for someone who like literally doesn't know?
Yeah, that's a good question. One I feel like you would find a lot of different answers to. Yeah, but basically, what Web3 is sort of this new way of building applications on the internet. That's different from sort of Web 2.0, which is the way that for most people for most of their lives have been using the internet. Sort of the hallmark of Web 2.0 is this setup where a company will have like a large privatized database in which they then grant access to the database by having different users sign up with their email and password. I'm sure everyone on the chat and everyone listening has done that, hundreds of thousands of times with different applications. And then that company, monetizes the information in that database, in order to sustain their operation and keep going. Web 3.0 is a little bit of a different setup where instead of having multiple private databases controlled by different companies, you actually have one central open database that no one specifically controls, that is open for anyone to use, kind of like a shared global resource. Anyone can then deploy applications to it, which are called dApps in this like Web 3.0 space. And instead of using an email and password to sign up, you actually use this thing called like a address, which is backed by this thing called a private key, which we can get into a bit later. And yeah, to tie it back, so Solana is an implementation of one of these global databases, also known as blockchains. Um, so yeah, that's so that's what I would say Solana is basically a platform for building decentralized applications.
And what would you say makes it like anything you would note about making it different than the other blockchains?
Yeah, so we're very early on in the whole like Web 3.0 space. I think most people have only heard of that term for the first time this year. Um, and there's a number of yeah, different platforms that are emerging. So Ethereum is like the most well known and most dominant. And that was sort of like the first attempt at building one of these. And now there's a lot of new ones popping up that are supposed to improve the experience in a lot of different ways. One of those which both Phantom and Fractal is built on top of is called Solana, and it basically makes has a bunch of sort of improvements and different design decisions that's made in order to create a blockchain that's much faster and cheaper to use primarily.
Okay, very cool. Okay, next up, I think now that we understand kind of a little bit intro into Web3 and Solana, is an intro into wallets. So, for those who are new to this space, I feel like there's always like a lot of vocabulary to learn. So, can you talk a little bit about that so we can make sure everyone's on the same page about what actually is a wallet?
Yeah, you can think of a wallet. So for people who've been around crypto for a bit, typically a wallet has been used to describe a piece of software that you use to manage cryptocurrencies. And so a lot of people have this mental model of wallets as just a place that you use to store money or store crypto. Um, and yeah, for a while that is kind of all that they were able to do, really. But with the advent of sort of this new Web 3.0 paradigm, wallets have actually taken this new role where not only are they used to store crypto and currencies, they're also used to interact with applications. And so you can think of a wallet today in the Web 3.0 context as a way to kind of your own personal identity that you can use to sign into and interact with decentralized applications such as Fractal and other ones like Serum, Radium, et cetera, built on Solana, and then other popular ones on Ethereum that you may have heard of, like OpenSea, Uniswap, et cetera.
Very cool. So I think now that we have that primer, let's actually get into a live walkthrough. So basically, for everyone listening, Brandon has promised to basically walk through 0 to 1 how to get your Phantom wallet up and running and set up. And also, I'm sure along the way, you'll tell us about like what a private key is, what a seed phrase is, like why all of these things are important. So I'll hand over screen sharing privileges over to you. And this is where everyone should watch really closely because if you don't have a Phantom wallet yet, this is the step by step way of how you're going to get one.
Basically, starting from zero, first thing you want to do is go to phantom.app. Um, so this is our official website. Be very careful that you're going to the official one. So phantom.app, exactly how it's portrayed here. A common technique for phishers and scammers is actually try to coerce someone to go to the incorrect URL, which may be phantom spelled slightly differently or with a different TLD or something like that. So first step, make sure you go to phantom.app and make sure it's the correct address. Next, what you want to do is click Add to Chrome. If you're on a different browser, such as Firefox, we'll say Add to Firefox, but we support most of the major browsers. And if you're on mobile, and we can talk about this later, we'll be actually coming out with an iOS app, hopefully at the beginning of the next year. Anyway, so you want to click this button, which will take you to our official listing in the Chrome store. Here, you also just want to do a quick check to make sure this is the real one as well. Just make sure that this says 1,000,000 plus. Usually fake ones will have, it's impossible for them to fake the install numbers. So it'll usually have a much lower amount of users, and you also just want to check that has like a large number of reviews as well. And so once you're here, all you need to do is click Add to Chrome, add extension. Cool. And so after you click Add extension, the extension will get installed onto your browser, and then you should see this screen, which is the beginning of sort of the in-wallet tutorial. There's two paths that you can choose here. So one, if you already have a secret recovery phrase, also known as a seed phrase, but we'll be going through this initial path today. So click on here. So this next step will show you your secret recovery phrase. And so something to note here is unlike what I'm doing right now, you never want to reveal your secret recovery phrase to anyone. It's called a secret recovery phrase for a reason. This is how you will restore your account if you ever accidentally uninstall your wallet. If you lose this, you basically lose everything in your wallet. If someone gains access to this, they basically have your entire wallet. So this is essentially your wallet, and you want to keep this extremely safe. Similar to how you would keep the keys to your house safe. Um, so after you get this phrase, you can copy it by clicking this button, and you want to save it somewhere safe. So a lot of people will either write it down on a piece of paper physically and store it somewhere like that they deem safe. So the safety deposit box is one example, or where else you would keep somewhere or somewhere in your house, something like that. Some people use 1Password or something like that. Basically, you want to keep it somewhere where no one else can access it. And once that's done, you want to click You've saved it. Here you can create a password for your wallet, and so you'll use this password to unlock your wallet. So this keeps your wallet safe if, for example, you leave your laptop open at work or something like that. Someone comes over to your computer and your browser, tries to open up your wallet and steal your funds. This password will actually act as a sort of like a gating mechanism on the wallet, so they need to type in the password to be able to actually access the interface. So we'll just see something here. Agree to the term of service, save. Cool. Then this screen is just telling you that there's a small shortcut that you can use to open your wallet, which is a convenience feature. And then awesome. So then that's it for the setup. Up here, there's a little message that will show you, hey, if you want to use your wallet, you can click on here, find Phantom, and actually click this pin, and that will actually make it so that your Phantom is saved right here, so you can always have easy access to it. And so you click it, it will open, and taking a little bit. Okay. And yeah, this is your new wallet. This one doesn't have anything in it, so it's a fresh wallet. But I actually have another one installed that will show you. Actually, let me go back to this one. Your wallet here has an address, and so this address is sort of like your unique ID or username for the wallet, and this is what uniquely identifies your wallet. And let's go to this one here. So this one is a different instance of Phantom that's sort of been pre-filled with some coins and NFTs, so you can see once you actually start using one, what it might look like. So this first screen will show you your main currencies and balances. So here we have $60 worth of SOL, some USDC, other things like Mercurial, USDT, etc. The second tab here will actually show your NFTs. So if you're using Fractal, this will be very relevant to you. But here you can kind of see all different types of NFTs. You have 3D ones. This one's actually plays some music. There's this one's a collection with multiple third tab here is a small little kind of like swapper where you can quickly morph one currency into another currency. Um, Here is your recent activity tab, so you can kind of see all the different things that you've been doing recently. If you click into it, it'll bring you to like a detailed page or shows you exactly the different transactions you've made. And then here's settings. And yeah, I mean that's sort of we have a bunch of different languages. You can store an address book with a lot of different addresses. And yeah, those sort of the basics. And as a little demo, I can send some money from this wallet to the wallet that we just created. So here we can send a small amount of Sol. So this is, let's do, let's
No
do
fat
this,
fingers over here.
$5. Okay, so we're sending 0.03 Sol to this new address, which we just generated earlier. Click next. It'll show you, just ask you to confirm you're sending this amount of Sol to here. Click send. Cool. And here it'll take you to your recent activity tab, and you can kind of see you're waiting for it to go through. It'll take a little bit to confirm. There we go. Should be there. Awesome. And then so this is the wallet that we just created. And yeah, you can see that now there's 0.03 Sol in there. Um, and yeah, that's just a little bit of how to use Phantom.
Awesome. This is really, really good. So basically, in like what, like 10-ish minutes, you're able to go from not having a wallet on Solana to like one that's like fully set up. Okay, so that basically ends the live walkthrough. So feel free to finish sharing your screen. And we have actually some time to take some questions. So, everyone in the chat, feel free to leave some of your questions. And I think first question, while people are thinking about their additional questions, is yeah, what is Phantom doing for mobile support? Like, is it always going to be on desktop?
Oh yeah, good question. Well, so we actually, if you may have seen on Twitter, we actually started beta testing the mobile wallet with some sort of like key members of the Solana community. So, the Solana team, a couple other people. And yeah, we're actively developing it right now. Um, and we're aiming to get it out there in the public's hands by the end of January. And so, yeah, I actually have like a little preview right here.
Oh my gosh.
Um, yeah, I'm thrilled. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's very similar to, the extension version, which I just demoed. So there's like all of your assets. Oh, this is actually the one that we were looking at earlier as well.
That's so
It
cool.
has like the swapping and everything. Um, yeah, and this tab over here is blank now, but it's going to be an in-app dApp browser. So you should be able to use all like the dApps that you really like to use directly in the wallet. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a little side menu where you can kind of view all your different addresses. So that's actually something that we didn't go over, but you can actually have multiple sort of identities or addresses as part of one
Ooh,
secret recovery phrase. And so this one actually has like 20 different ones. Um, but yeah, it's very
cool.
hotly anticipated.
Yes, it is. Okay, so it looks like we have some questions. So obviously, besides Fractal, what is your favorite Web3 project?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of really cool NFT based ones coming out on Solana. So yeah, Magic Eden is like a really awesome one. I feel like they were the first like really like high production like NFT secondary marketplace that I've seen. Um, and yeah, I've had a really awesome time like buying NFTs on there. What else? Really like Mango markets. They're sort of like a sort of trade like advanced trading venue. Also built on Solana. And also similarly like very high production, like high quality, very polished. Um, on the Ethereum side, there's a couple. Have to shout out 0x and matcha.xyz. Those were matcha.xyz is sort of like the product that my co-founders and I were working on before we left 0x to start
Wait, you worked
Phantom.
on matcha? That's so cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, that was like sort of our baby for like through 2020, early 2021. Um, and yeah, have to shout that one out for sure.
That's awesome. Dang. Okay, let's see. Oh, wow, someone's very, someone's asking, oh, I guess I'm curious. So it sounds like Phantom is your main project right now. So how did you like build your team? Mainly because there's people asking how they can apply.
Hmm. Yeah, well, if you're interested in applying, you can go to phantom.app/jobs to go to see our jobs page, and there's kind of like all the open roles. Right now, the only open roles on there are engineering related. It's like software development and whatnot. But yeah, we're interested in talking to anyone. So if you feel like you have a interesting skill set that we could use, feel free to send an email to careers@phantom.app and send us your resume.
Dang. If you hire someone from the Fractal community, I feel like you gotta come back and tell us the story.
I definitely will.
Awesome. Oh, are you planning to support Android in addition to iOS?
Yep. Um, yeah, so iOS will be our first release shooting for the end of January, and then after that we'll do like a fast follow with the Android app, hopefully sometime in February.
Okay, very cool. Wow. We stand a good roadmap, you know? So clear. Um, some more questions. So it sounded like we hear a little bit earlier about why you really like Solana, so on and so forth. But like, what do you think makes it special? Was another top question.
Hmm. That's an interesting one. I mean, obviously the community is very, very vibrant. Probably similar reasons why Fractal decided uh, to kind of launch on Solana as well. But I will throw like kind of one interesting thing out there, which was, and this is a little bit technical, but basically when Solana was first coming out, a lot of people were sort of saying that Solana would never take off because it was not EVM compatible, meaning smart contracts that were written for Ethereum were not able to be deployed onto Solana, and EVM-based contracts had so much momentum and developer tooling that Solana would not be able to keep up. Um, and that's what everyone was saying. But I guess interestingly enough, that aspect of other chains, so for example, Polygon, Binance Smart Chain, they all have EVM compatibility. And actually what that actually promoted was a lot of like sort of like very surface level drive-by copy and pastes of like things that people were doing on Ethereum. People just sort of like
Mm.
thoughtlessly kind of deployed them onto those other chains without any real effort into like building a community around them. And kind of what happened on Solana is that the fact that it is its own sort of separate set of tools and language and whatever actually like kind of fostered this kernel of like software community that was like quite genuine. And so yeah, that was like kind of like an awesome little aspect of Solana that sort of uh, was a kind of unintuitive or people didn't really expect.
That's cool. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like everyone else with those EDM or supporting EDM contracts basically just like ding dong ditched them.
Exactly, yeah. It very much was like a ding dong ditch, like you said, very aptly.
Okay, so we have a question from Eliza. What do you think are the biggest problems to solve in crypto right now?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's so one that's kind of where we're coming from is just sort of like general, just like the problem of usability and user friendliness. crypto, especially 2013, 2017, was very much like a set of tools that was only being used by developers, and so because of that, all the tools are very all the wallets and stuff are are quite advanced. They're sort of geared towards like a more developer audience. Um, and yeah, I feel like the industry hasn't really like broken out of that yet. And so just designing things for like normal human beings, I think is a really big hurdle. Um, Managing secret recovery phrases is also another big one. It's not something that is intuitive to people who are used to using Web 2.0 apps. Typically, if you lose your password, you're able to reset it and all those things. But in kind of the Web 3.0 landscape as it is today, it's quite devastating if you lose your recovery phrase or you compromise it. There's very little that you can do. But there is actually like a number of different um, possible solutions or ways that we can make that better without really sort of compromising the core, I guess, like value props of Web 3.0. So that's like a big area that we want to be able to sort of push the boundaries and work on, through next year.
Dang, that's awesome. I feel like I can really see that. I feel like that's very like it sounds very much like your mission because I can see that like in the user experience of Phantom itself. So that's awesome. I really like that. I think something you touched on there as well, and I think this might be a good like since in the spirit of making this a like how to type tutorial. Um, I think a couple things. One, like more on like vocabulary that works. Can you explain about how gas works, especially on Solana? And then number two, in the spirit of like making sure you don't have to go through experience of losing your hard-earned crypto. Someone actually tried to impersonate me the other day to scam people, which I was floored. This is the first time it's happened to me. So the second part is how should people who are new to this space protect themselves so that their hard-earned crypto doesn't go to someone who's trying to take it from them?
Hmm. Wait, sorry, what was the first part of the question again?
Can
Around,
you
oh,
explain?
how does gas work? Yeah, that's a good question. It's quite hard to answer without like getting quite technical about it, but in Ethereum, you basically pay for gas. The amount of gas you pay is proportional to the amount of quote unquote computation that a transaction is doing. So the more complicated a transaction is, the more gas it's going to take, and therefore the price of the transaction fee is going to be higher. For Solana, the rules are a little bit different. They're actually evolving as the network evolves. Um, but the main difference with Solana is that it's actually not proportional to computation at the moment, although in the future there are plans for adding a sort of like a scaled computational portion to it. But there is this different concept called state rent in Solana, which is a little bit different, doesn't exist in Ethereum. So if you are sort of writing something to Solana, like creating a new entry or whatnot, then you actually need to put a little bit of Sol down to sort of like mark that piece of data that you're writing. And something that's actually different is that you can actually go back and erase that data and like reclaim the rent back. So it's a little bit of a different model. Also, something that's quite challenging to explain to a normal person uh, who's not technical, like in the product. But yeah, there's just like some high level differences.
Okay, very
Um,
cool. And then last thing, yeah, how can we make sure that people are protected?
yeah, I think yeah, you basically just have to come like this space is very early, and everything is still very experimental. And so, yeah, you basically need to come with a very sort of defensive mindset when you're participating in these communities and different technologies. So yeah, basically double check, triple check, quadruple check everything, the people that you're talking to, the URLs that you're accessing, the applications that you're downloading. Yeah, it's kind of hard, but it kind of you just have to take a step back and like have this very defensive mindset, similar to like having a quote unquote defensive driving style, I guess. And from that comes like a number of sort of like practical things you can do, like um, you know having a safe place to store your secret recovery phrase, or having sort of like a bunch of steps that you take before you sort of talk to someone who's DM'd you or something like that. So yeah, there's just some high level things.
That's awesome. Well, we're super grateful that you could spend the past hour, give or take some technical difficulties with us. Where should people find you or Phantom? This is like your chance to shill everything.
Yeah. Well, you can check us out like through the tutorial. You can check us out on phantom.app. You can also sort of like the main way that we sort of disseminate information is through our Twitter account. So that's just twitter.com/phantom. And then you can find myself on Twitter as well, twitter.com/bchillman, BCHILLMAN.
Thank you both so much for coming. So, everyone in the chat, leave a happy belated birthday to Brandon. Leave a good luck for Arximedes because he's going to be helping us through all these great verification issues, or hopefully non-issues, or mainly just like user experience, user error sometimes. But um, thank you so much. This was super fun, and thank you so much. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I hope everyone found it useful. So, with that, I guess we'll sign off.